Oh man, I thought I was done. Unfortunately, my mind couldn't stop racing and I concocted more counter arguments. One of the reasons I don't like talking about this is because there will always be some people that would try to turn this into gender war or a political argument. Make no mistake, this is not a men versus women issue. This is about battle manga fans defending a genre they love from poor sexism accusations made by a vocal minority. Your gender shouldn't determine which side you stand on. Your logic and reasoning should. Now, I'll tackle the different types of gazes. Both male gaze and female gaze are feminist concepts, which is already a red flag, but let me entertain it. Based on the comments I received and what I heard from other people, the male gaze is when the media is made to appeal to straight men, usually involving sexy women. The female gaze is the opposite. This led to people arguing that muscles in battle manga don't count as sexualization because big muscles appeal to men more than they appeal to women, or because the intent of the muscles isn't sexualization, but strength. Once again, despite disagreeing with the validity of the premise, I will argue within the premise. No matter how much you move the goalpost, I'll always score. Let's look at shoujo evidence. Y'all thought I only watched shonen? Tough luck. Shoujo is a demographic aimed at young women. It appeals to the female gaze. Here's the problem. I think I can make the case that even shoujo has more eye candy for male viewers than female viewers. The two main types I'll be looking at are secondary sexual characteristics, SSCs, and skin showing. First up, Sailor Moon, the most popular shoujo manga. In this show, when they transform, most of the Sailor Senshi have their bare thighs out thanks to a miniskirt. Mustang would be proud. Let's look at all the female villains. The Sailor Animates, Cowlin Knight, Mistress Nine, Ayakashi Sisters, Queen Badier, Amazon's Quartet, Witches 5, Queen Metalia, Didi Girls, Wicked Lady, Queen Nehelenia, Queen Beryl. They all have SSCs and skin. The main male hero is Tuxedo Mask. He doesn't show skin or have muscles. What about the male villains? The Kings of Heaven, Black Moon Clan, Wiseman, Amazon Trio, Dr. Tomoe. Out of them, only the Amazon Trio wear revealing clothes, but they still don't have double SCs. I didn't cherry pick. I went to a Screen Rant article of major villains and this is the list they gave me. So in Sailor Moon, there is significantly more eye candy for male viewers. Let's keep going. Next is Maid-sama. Off the bat, the hook of the show is that the main girl has to work as a part-time maid. Sounds like male gaze to me. I know that's why I watched it. While there aren't many curvy women, most females are either wearing skirts that show their legs, or maid outfits that show even more skin. There are characters with a noticeable bust size, Honoka, Erika, and Subaru, and then male characters don't have muscles or show skin. Strange, isn't it? Next, Kamisama Kiss. Most of the female characters lack curves, but I found Hio, Isohime, Narukami, and Kei had noticeable curves and showed skin. Meanwhile, most of the male characters don't have muscle or skin. Let's continue. In Shirayukihime, both genders are equally fully clothed, eliminating skin. Kiki has some curves, and her fit is tight enough to show them. There are no prominent male characters with muscles. Interesting. Next, Kimi ni Todoke is the usual. Both genders have sexually unimpressive bodies, but male characters are fully clothed, while some female characters show more skin, like Ayane, Yoshida, and Ume. Lovely Complex is basically the same. Underwhelming bodies on both sides, fully clothed men, and some skin for women. Our Haru Ride is the same. My Little Monster is the same. Wolf Girl and Black Prince is the same. These are the popular shoujo anime that I've watched. I noticed that shoujo tend to have poorly endowed bodies, which means that girls aren't curvy and boys aren't muscular. However, the men are almost always fully clothed, while the women show some skin, usually legs and a miniskirt. There are also more examples of curvy women than muscular men, if muscular men even exist. So in shoujo, a demographic for the female gaze, they sexualize women more than men. So why aren't the same people complaining about female bodies in shonen manga getting on the case of shoujo manga? Is it because it was made for women, so now it's suddenly not a problem? I don't know about you, but that doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like a double standard. Assuming the detractors are content with the way that men are portrayed in shoujo, that just means they're attracted to men that don't have hypermasculine bodies. Meanwhile, us men in the shonen male gaze are attracted to women with hyperfeminine bodies. For some reason, they see this as a problem. It almost sounds like they're mad that we're happy. Shonen takes advantage of curves to bring in men, while shoujo doesn't take advantage of muscles to bring in women. How can they be upset that shonen is capitalizing on its gaze, that the male audience enjoys what was biologically created for them to enjoy? Isn't that the point of distinguishing gazes and demographics, so that you can appeal to them? Yet we have people in the anime community going to anime aimed at men and saying, women don't like that, so stop doing it. I'm fine with writing criticism. I do it all the time. This isn't writing criticism. This is marketing criticism. They're telling the stories to stop marketing in a way that has been successful because they don't like it. Do you realize how absurd that sounds? Please don't tell me they're threatened by cartoon characters being more attractive than them. And what happened to muscles? In my comments, I heard that when shonen have muscles, it's the male gaze, so it doesn't count. Simply zooming in on breasts and butts counts as sexualization, but zooming in on muscles doesn't because of intent? Then show me female gaze shoujo anime that intend to sexualize muscles. What's that? They don't exist or aren't popular? How convenient. Shojo, which is made for the female gaze, doesn't even have muscles. So how are artists supposed to sexualize men without going to the genitals? Please let us know. They have tons of options for females. So does that mean that female bodies are inherently more sexual? This is why the intent argument is shaky. They're discounting SCs that are right in front of them because of intent. I don't care if Sailor Moon intended to tantalize male viewers with their elegant outfits. I'm enjoying that shit whether it was made for me or not. Same goes for shoujo anime. I'd be damned if one of my friends said, actually I'm not attracted to Sailor Moon characters because they weren't created for the male gaze. Stop being picky about your food. There are starving kids in Africa. It seems like the only solution they want is to decrease sexualization and fan service all around the board. When you try to tell them, hey, there's male sexualization in shonen, their response is, well, I don't like that. And then I heard some talk about it resulting in violence against women. Back it up with a study. In my research, there was no study proving that cartoon sexualization resulted in violence against women in real life. It may sound mean, but I don't care about your anecdotal evidence in the scope of a debate. That's a logical fallacy. Your personal experience isn't representative of the majority of experiences and facts. I'm sorry that you may have had bad experiences, but you can't chalk it up to titties and anime because your anecdotal evidence is not proof. And there are studies about how cartoon sexualization affects women, but none of them concluded that violence was a result. In conclusion, shoujo anime tend to have non-sexual male bodies that are fully clothed, while they have some sexual female bodies and most are showing some skin. While it's much smaller, this still means that shoujo sexualize women more than men, but they don't see a problem with that, raising a double standard. They also don't like hypermasculine bodies and are upset that battle manga has hyperfeminine bodies to appeal to the male audience. They don't like the marketing of stories that aren't even aimed at them. They don't like biological characteristics made to appeal to them. Their final excuse is that it results in violence against women in real life, but there are no studies to prove it. No matter how much you move the goalpost, I'll always score. The reason I chose secondary sexual characteristics and skin showing as my standards for sexualization is because the definition of sexualization seems to be so loose. Sexualization, the action or process of sexualizing something. Sexual, relating to the instincts, physiological processes, and activities connected with physical attraction or intimate physical contact between individuals. Based on these definitions, it sounds to me like having an attractive face counts as sexualization. Activities connected with physical attraction? Wouldn't men fighting count as an activity connected with physical attraction? So if you want to be super strict about definitions, drawing attractive faces is sexualization, and so is men fighting. So all anime, except the ugly ones, are equally guilty and there's no longer a problem. But I know that's not what the opposition is talking about. They mean boobs, butts, and skin showing, which is why I focused on skin showing and the male equivalent of boobs and butts, muscles. To me, that's the best way to be objective. However, once you start talking about intent and gaze, it becomes too subjective to have a reasonable discussion about, which I hopefully conveyed well through the exposed hypocrisy in this video.